Welcome to the Best Damn Podcast. This is your host, Jill Lagan, CEO of the Boulder City Chamber of Commerce. In each episode, we will highlight what makes Boulder City, home of the Hoover Dam, the ideal place to operate your small business, explore world-class tourism attractions, and discover why we are the perfect place to live and unwind. What a special day today. We get to visit with Miss Celeste Interrante. She is with Lady Lux Cleaning, and I cannot wait to tell you a little bit more about her. Lady Lux is a DBA woman-owned cleaning company in Nevada built on second chance hiring, sustainability, and uncompromising standards. They bring a refined, non-toxic approach to every space, so your home, job site, or workplace feels cared for, not just cleaned. I love that. What a great statement. I love it. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So this is such an interesting topic because we don't always think about the non-toxic side of things, but also, and I can't wait to hear more about your startup story because there's some funny notes there, but also I am so impressed with you and the idea of second chance hiring. So can't wait to get into this a little bit more. So who exactly is your target client?
That's a really great question because having three different kind of divisions of the company, our target is somebody that appreciates excellence, that is looking for an alternative to everyday cleaning practices and wants results.
So that's the end customer.
That's the end customer. Who we serve are people that like clean spaces, maybe have allergies or adverse reactions to cleaning products that are on the shelves today, that appreciate a cleaning company that has employees, which is not common these days, and understands and appreciates our mission.
Right. Because that, I think also your message today is also for those looking for work.
Yes.
That second chance, that hand up, that we respect and admire the fact that you have come so far. And so I think you've got multiple targets here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so clean spaces. This is home. This is residential, but commercial as well. So small business, big business?
Yes.
Okay, because I would imagine that without employees, you could not service all of those elements because small business is much like residential, right?
Right.
But big business, now you're talking janitorial, that goes into public restroom spaces. So it's a little more.
We haven't gotten there yet, but our largest office is about 8,000 square feet.
Okay.
So that's 20-something offices, 4 bathrooms, kitchen, entryway, all double conference rooms. So yes, there's no way that I could accomplish that even in a day.
No.
So having employees right off the bat, I've learned is a way to get back time so that you can serve more people.
Serve more people, but also oversee all of those jobs going well versus you having to do them.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, what is your favorite part of all of this?
If you would have asked me that 6 months ago, I'd probably have a different answer. I have had developed teams over I'm into my 3rd year. And the first team that I hired on is not with me anymore.
Interesting.
A lot of that is because of who I've become, but also how I've shaped the company. And people have to align with your mission to do the work. The last year, I have 2 second chance hires that I've watched grow into their leadership and leadership in their own lives.
Yeah.
So I've watched them be in structured living environments, to taking the bus, to now living on their own, to having vehicles, to now leading the next level of those second chance hires into what they have just accomplished. And so that is the best part for me.
Oh, I can only imagine.
The rest of it is just the work.
So that's phenomenal. Do you run the risk of leading too far? Run the risk of you've taught these women, you've taught these individuals great skills, you provided them with the feedback and the assurances that they need, and some of them even just the personal skills that they need. Are you teaching them too well and now they're going to leave you and be great entrepreneurs on their own?
If they do, we have some safeguards in place to protect the company and our customers and our way of life, I guess, the Lady Lux way.
Yeah.
I would not be mad at them if they wanted to become entrepreneurs.
I was going to say, that's kind of hard to not know that you're a mentor, not just an employer, but a mentor.
Right. I also see too that, and I've owned several businesses in the past, and I've never had this level of loyalty that is altruistic.
Yes.
Like, it's very authentic. It's not that I've bribed them or that I've made promises and they're staying so that I fulfill those promises, because there is no promise. Business is business. You don't know one day to the next.
Correct.
But watching them just show up in ways that are well beyond what their job description is, like, I've never experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
fulfilling.
it's a joy and an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would imagine that my next question is always about your aha moment, but I think your aha moment is knowing that there is this level of being a business owner, an entrepreneur, that gives you more, that it's not just the bottom line dollar, it's not fulfilling your dream of owning your own business. It really is, just as you have described, the fact that you are perpetuating success in others.
Somebody asked me, so what is Lady Lux? And I said, we're a workforce development company that cleans spaces.
Yes, I love it.
Like, that's what we are evolving into, or who we're evolving into. And I do love the finish work that we do and the smile on people's faces, especially with our product line and how we deliver excellence. But it's really about the people. Like, we have a people business.
Right.
And we make mistakes and we miss things and we fall on our faces and we forget things, right? We lose equipment. We forget to vacuum a room. It happens. It's a people business.
Right.
I think where our differentiator is that we guarantee the results. And my team really wants to be successful and feel like their contribution mattered. And so that's the differentiator. They're not just chasing a paycheck,
Right.
but they're also chasing the satisfaction in what they're leaving behind with their name on it.
Very good. And for many of them, they may not have ever had that opportunity or had that experience. Maybe they weren't taught that. Maybe life experiences didn't allow for that. And so this has got to be very satisfying for them as well. And they're realizing that relations are more important than the transaction.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
awesome. I love it. So I know from learning a little bit more about you that you've had a couple of interesting experiences, some funny professional experiences, but share with us how you kind of got this all started.
Yeah. So I've been a business owner in Vegas since 2020, and I was a landscape contractor and a turf supplier.
Oh.
So I had a turf and landscape company and sold artificial turf. I call it the gold rush years, from 2020, 2021 to about 2023.
Interesting.
Lots of people were putting turf in their yards. It was kind of the big thing.
Right.
And it's a little tougher now. After that company ended and we closed, I had to find something to do because I'm not a stay-at-home person. It's just me.
Yeah.
So nobody takes care of me but me.
No, and you're active.
Yeah. And so I went to my friends because I've been in construction and I said, I'm looking to start something.
Oh, interesting.
Nobody in town wanted to hire me.
Really?
Yeah, because I think they feel as a successful business owner that you're just going to learn what, like you were mentioning in the beginning.
Yes.
That you're just going to take what you've learned with them and then go do your own thing. Or it's just a placeholder until you find your next thing.
Oh, interesting.
So I applied for, I would say, 500 jobs that I was qualified for.
Holy guacamole.
I had 2 interviews and nobody wanted to hire me.
That's crazy, Celeste.
Unless I wanted commission only. And I was at a point where it's like, I really would like a base pay plus commission. I don't mind eating what I kill, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I couldn't get a job.
That's crazy to me. I have a hard time believing that, but I would imagine sometimes if they're not comfortable in their own skin, they're not, they don't have enough faith in their own company. They're worried that you could be a threat versus an addition.
asset.
Yeah, that's too bad for them, right?
Yep. Yep.
Well, I'm glad because it led you to this place. So we're really grateful to have you here in Boulder City.
Yep.
I would imagine that you had to really think through the process of what a second chance hire might look like prior to delving into that, because this is not just something you take lightly. You have always created assurances that there's security and you are very careful about the people who you are having as an employee. So share with me the process. Share with me how you look to utilize that as an asset and not potentially a problem.
It started out as a problem. So I started out, my first paid job was on a construction site, a tenant improvement, and I needed laborers. And I had connections with John Ponder's Hope for Prisoners, which is a great program.
I agree.
Got in touch with them, hired 5 guys probably within a week.
Wow.
And brought them on. And didn't have the systems and the processes in place because this is a new industry. And this was almost 3 years ago.
Yes.
It did not bear well, but I'm a strong individual and I'm dealing with 5 guys that are felons.
Right.
And having to bear that respect right away to let them know that I'm the one that signs the paychecks.
Right.
And you could go home anytime. They really kind of respected me for the fact that I was giving them an opportunity. You know, the real reason that I did second chance hiring is because I've always had a second chance in life.
Interesting.
And I think everybody could say at some point they had a second chance.
Right. I agree.
Somebody that believed in them, somebody that said, go for it. And so I believe in people. I believe that people are inherently just want to take care of themselves, live a good life. And yes, they've made some mistakes and they've done their penance for that. So if there's a place that can help our community as a whole, rather than just say, oh, you're a felon, you just need to stay over here.
Correct.
Let's figure out how to get them a paycheck so that they can pay for their kids, right? That they can pay for themselves.
They're a productive member of society.
That they can not rely on all of us to take care of them through the system. So there's what's the word that I'm looking for? There's an immense feeling of success when somebody who gets out of prison with a felony gets a paycheck.
I bet.
And they get, $100 in their bank account or on their card or whatever it is.
Right.
For me, that's what I love to see.
It's got to be motivating.
It's completely motivating.
Yeah.
And so then I take my sales skills and I go out there and I'm getting the next job so that I can say, when this one's done, we got that one.
Right.
So it took probably about 6 or 7 months to realize that 5 or 6 felons is a lot.
Yeah.
And I need some type of structure, SOP, programming behind that to make sure, one, that I'm protected and safe, the company is protected and safe, and the team that works alongside them is protected and safe. As those gentlemen transitioned out, I didn't bring any more on.
Okay.
And I figured I'm going to have one at a time and give them a year and make sure that I'm able to effectively mentor them and see them through to the next level. And then we'll bring another one on and then lather, rinse, and repeat.
Sounds
and
good.
I do that. And those employees are only on my construction sites.
Okay.
So I background check everybody.
Right.
I don't take anybody that's had violence, sexual assault, no predatory kind of behaviors. Most of it's drugs.
Right.
Misdemeanors, that kind of thing. And on the residential and commercial side, you have to have a clean background.
Okay.
Because I'm putting you in people's homes.
That's right.
Offices. There's stuff, right?
Yeah. And people want to be secure. I would imagine, I know in my mindset, I very much love the social side of this so that we can provide those opportunities. But you're exactly right. Okay, do I really want somebody that I don't know if you've checked out fully in my home where my small children are or my elderly parents are? And so good to know that you do your homework and you've got those systems in place.
Absolutely. You don't step foot into any space until I get that background check back.
Got it.
And then and your final offer of employment is based on that background check.
Interesting. And they know that.
Yep, absolutely.
So they wouldn't apply if they didn't fit the mold that you're creating.
Right. And I talk about that in the interview. I say, if I would love them on the team, I need to finish your background check. And based on that, we move in whatever direction. The other thing is, like you were mentioning, I want to give assurance to people that, yes, I do second chance hiring, but I also want to make sure I don't want somebody that could potentially put me and my family in a position of, I don't want to say danger, but opportunity for somebody. I want to know that if I'm bringing a service professional in, that I'm good.
Right. That you're not creating victims anywhere.
That's
that
it,
you're
yeah.
supplying somebody who probably was a victim an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we carry $1 million liability policy. I carry $1 million work comp.
Gosh, yeah.
I also carry a janitorial theft bond.
Wow.
So if something happens, and obviously I'll pay for whatever, but you can always go against the bond. So that's a
Right.
third level of protection for us.
Yeah. And assurances, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now that you just described all of that,
Uh-huh.
I see dollar signs. That's got to get expensive for you as the business owner.
It is. And, trying to manage expectations in the community about what a cleaning company should be paid. I am not the cheapest. I'm not the most expensive, but I'm on the higher end of the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
And that is because of what we're doing, what we're laying out. And for me, I'm okay with that because there's so much opportunity out here for cleaning services, for housekeepers. There's lots of, I have people come up to me all the time in my networking and in the groups that I'm in. And they say, I'd really love to use your service, but I've used my housekeeper for 15 years. Great.
Yeah.
And she's working out. If something happens, I'm here.
Yes, I love it.
Right. And it's not about the competitive nature. I'm not trying to win everybody. We're here as a resource. We're collaborating. I know a lot of housekeepers are getting older.
Right.
And they're wanting to retire.
Exactly.
So when they retire, they call us. And that's how we've gotten 4 new clients in Boulder City.
Is because of retirees.
Is because of retiring housekeepers.
Yeah. And we understand that is just the process. That's the transition. And we want them to be able to have that opportunity. Right. Okay, so that's the residential side. On the business side, so you do smaller shops, mom and pop type shops. And then, like you said, your larger one is 8,000 square feet.
Okay.
And you had also mentioned to me that you also do construction cleanup. So that's after the fact. So talk a little bit more about that, because there are a lot of people are either building homes, they're doing remodels. There's some new homes being built shortly there around the golf course. So what does that look like? And do you come in with the contractor, or are you hired by the independent homeowner or business owner?
So for the commercial offices, it would be the office, the owner would hire us to come in and do the cleaning. On the construction side, it's usually the GC.
Okay.
Because part of their contract to the owner would be to hand them over a turnkey property ready to go.
Right.
And so once construction is done, we come in and we clean up all the construction dust. We take off all the protective coatings. We make sure that the floors are done, that the windows are good. So we give it a full walls to, I say ceilings to floors and everything in between.
Got it. That's great.
And construction dust is really difficult to clean up. It's very fine and it gets in your HVAC system. So if you have that running during a remodel, you're going to need to change out your filters every 2 weeks at a minimum. Because that's going to just keep recirculating. And we'll see that in some light commercial and residential remodels where I'll get a call back 2 weeks later. Hey, it's still dusty. What's going on? It's like, let's talk about your HVAC.
Yes, smart.
I come from a construction background. My dad was a GC and a developer. And so I grew up, picking up nails from the construction sites and hammering. And my dad taught me plumbing and electrical.
Wow.
And some basic framing, and I can change a toilet out, that kind of stuff.
That's impressive.
I think he wanted boys and he got girls. So I understand the timeline when it comes to construction probably better than most, in that I've lived it.
Yes, absolutely. And I am living it right now.
Yes.
And yes, that dust factor is a thing. And I don't know if anybody can hear outside of our podcast trailer. There's a lot of noise going on today. That's all positive because it's activity and it means, the end result's going to be awesome.
That's
so
right.
We are loving it, even with the dust and noise. It's all good. So I am just super excited about all of the different facets of you and your business. So can I get to know you a little bit better?
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe what was your first job?
Well, aside from working for my dad doing his filing in his office in the garage, My first real job, I worked for Carl's Jr.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was 16, so I'd work after school, and I ran the cash register.
That's so great. And so, what do you think that is worthy of many teens to kind of start there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can handle customer service at fast food, you can handle anything, I believe.
Isn't that interesting? I've never done it, never worked that. I've always worked for my dad when I was a kid or had my own business. And so that was not something I was used to, but my little brother did. And there are some stories. So
There are
talk
some
about
stories.
funny stories in that world. But anyway, I think you're right. I think that there is an ability for young people to start off and they go from home and doing chores around the house to serving others.
Yep.
And what does that customer service look like and what that business owner, their expectation levels are. Yeah, I love it. I think fast food is probably a good starting point for all kids.
That or retail.
Yes.
Like those two customer forward facing industries really teach you a lot about people and your own patience and how to just be okay with doing things that you might principally feel, no, that's wrong. But then the company says, no, it's okay. Just take care of the
This
customer.
is what you want, the customer
Yeah.
happy, right? Yeah, that's true. So what is something people may not know about you?
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot, Jill.
There might be things we don't need to know.
There are those things. Those are put away for today. So I was a young mom. I got married at 18.
Wow, impressive.
And I had a tumultuous childhood. I was a product of the 80s. And so it wasn't being a Gen Xer. There's a lot of things that kids today and young adults have no clue
True.
about things that we've gone through. And so at 18, I was kind of whisked away by an officer in the Navy. And at 22, had my first son. 23, had my second son. And then I started college.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
Go back to school while you've got two babes in diapers.
And then I played college softball. So I played
Oh,
4
wow.
years of ball. So I had 2 kids under 2, and I was in college, and I played athletics for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did that help fund your schooling or the athletics part of it?
No, I paid for
Oh, wow.
my schooling, and I went to school for physical therapy.
Oh, interesting.
And this was in Minnesota.
Cold outdoor sports. That's incredible.
And I'm a Southern California girl.
Yeah.
So at 18, I left San Diego and went to northern Minnesota
Wow.
and had a 120-degree swing in the weather and the climate. But I remember the first time I saw it snow and I had my face pressed against the mirror or the window, and it was the most beautiful thing. It was just quiet and still, and you could just see the flakes just falling. And then I saw my first blizzard, and I hated it. Yeah, snow wasn't beautiful then. But I think that being a young mom, and so I was a young empty nester, gave me the ability in the second part of my life to pursue my entrepreneurial endeavors.
That's awesome.
So ever since I was about 40 years old, I've been really trying to figure out how to make a living.
That was awesome. And so you didn't really take any of your college background other than probably just the idea that with kids at home and a husband and everything else, it took a lot for you to be focused and to create those processes to make sure that you got all your work done. That kind of feeds right into what an entrepreneur is all about.
Yeah, I went into management or leadership. I went into leadership pretty quickly. I like to get things done. I like to create programs. I like to build stuff. I think that's what I got from my dad.
Yes.
Is I love to see things built and come to fruition, and then I look for the next thing.
Right. Create the steps, the process, and the systems, and then move on. It's cool.
So I took that from my career, and then when I got divorced at 40, I took that into entrepreneurial roles. So I would do like sales consulting. I would do operational consulting and really look at different companies and their processes and help them become proficient, efficient, and then also how could they expand their market share. Sales is my superpower. That's what people tell me.
Love it.
And I think that building out companies is becoming my new superpower.
I love that. And so you took the idea of being a mentor to the next level, and you're actually capitalizing on that and found a way to monetize it. And you're providing those resources and tools and your knowledge or expertise. I would imagine there's quite a few people who are constantly calling you going, hey, I just want to bounce this idea off of you.
When you say it like that, I'm sitting here with my jaw hitting the floor, like I'm in awe of like, wait, is that really me?
That is you.
But yeah, my friends do call and say, hey, I've got something I want to talk to you about. Do you have 10 minutes or
Yeah.
so? That happens a lot.
That's awesome. That is great that you are willing to share and that you have that ability, because not everybody does. Not everybody's interested in also doing that. Okay, so here's a question for you. What book are you reading right now?
So I listen to a lot of books on
Audible.
Audible.
Mhm.
And so I've been really following Alex and Layla Hormozy
Yes, yes, yes.
and love a lot of their philosophies.
Hmm.
Just like with anybody that you follow, you take what resonates
Right.
and fits. So I can look and see what my next book is because I just downloaded it, but I can't remember
That's
what
okay.
it's called. So let me.
Yeah, I have followed Hormozy a couple different, I think it was actually a TED Talk that I initially heard. I'd have to go back and look, but I find them fascinating.
It's Ben Horowitz, the next one that I'm going to read. It's The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Oh, interesting. Ben Horowitz.
Ben Horowitz.
So we have a business book club. It actually was started by John Chase and Larry Archuleta, and it's Amy Vandenberg. So it's all part of the Rotary Boulder City, their business book club. Anyway, I love it. It's one of my favorite things to attend. And actually, I missed it last night and I was bummed. But they're always looking for good suggestions. So I'm going to recommend Ben Horowitz. That's a great one.
I know both of those guys.
Yeah, they are great. We have so much fun, and it's cool. We spend 1 hour. It's not meant to be, sit around and talk forever. 1 hour at Browder Books and be able to just hear other people's insights and what they took from it, and I find that fascinating. Walter Stalker is one of the most interesting people I've ever met. He has got so many great insights, and it's just so matter of fact. Yeah, I read that. We did this and this, and he says something so deep. You're like, dude, where did you get that?
Yeah.
That is awesome. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. And so anyway, I really enjoy that group because it's fun to hear other people's interpretations of the same thing that you read.
Yeah, absolutely. And to build off of that, I belong to the BBD. So we
Yes.
meet Tuesday morning, every Tuesday morning. It's my favorite morning of the week
Oh, I bet.
because I get to be in a room with other business owners and entrepreneurs doing the same thing that I'm
Right.
doing, right?
Yeah.
And we have started now a monthly mastermind.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
So we have a mastermind at my office once a month, and we have about 6 of us so far, and we get together and we all bring something and we put it out on the table for everybody to share their experience if they've experienced it or a perspective maybe. And we've had some success with
What a
some of the recommendations.
I
So
love that. What a cool idea. And that also would probably feed into that entrepreneurial spirit in the mentor program. As people are sitting around the table and they're hearing others and sharing in their experiences and understanding them at a little bit of a deeper level, it makes it really easy to confide in somebody and share your thoughts because you're not concerned or nervous and you don't have to worry about being judged with those ideas. Sometimes the stuff you throw on the table, you're like, oh, dude, no way, Jose, that's not going to work. But
Yep.
other things, I find it fascinating to hear other people's insights and thoughts. I just had a great meeting yesterday with a local business owner who I highly respect, and we just threw out a bunch of different ideas, and through all those different ideas, something will funnel through. It'll end up being a great addition to the Adventure Center, but you have to develop that trust and that level of, hey, I'm going to throw this out. It may sound totally ridiculous, but give me your feedback.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. That's one of my favorite parts of my job, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe it to be important that us business owners not only support each other with our dollars, but we need to support each other with our experiences
True.
and share how does a business community get stronger. They support each other
That's right.
in ways that are not just about let's go have lunch here or let's go buy something here. It's no, let's go sit around a table and talk about something that's really eating at you that you can't sleep at night.
Exactly. What those issues are, what's keeping you up at night. I loved my daughter actually she started the part of the team of the first robotics team here at Boulder City High School. And one of the company that they worked with, one of the terms that they constantly were throwing at these kids is cooperation. So yes, there's competitive nature in all of this, but there's also cooperation. So the teams would all get together, and if something on their robot didn't work, it was great to see them go, hey, let me run over across the way. Let me just see if they have that tool. Let me see if they have that extra part. Let me see if they have, maybe they can help us. And we saw that all the time with the kids, especially Boulder City, because they were starting off, they were new. But we really saw a lot of that cooperation, and I love that. And I've carried that over into the chamber concept. Our businesses have that. You can be on industry nights. You can be 3 different restaurants, but it's great for them to get together and go, hey, did you have this employee issue? Hey, have you noticed this is another issue? Hey, we need some help with the city on this issue. I did that. We did this. It worked out great. All of those kinds of conversations are so important, and they help all boats float, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All boats rise with the tide.
I love it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. I would imagine that you had said that you had an interesting background in the 80s, but share with us maybe something that you learned from your parents or learned from your past that you have carried forward to today.
2 things actually that come to mind. One, my dad was an entrepreneur. So he owned his own construction company. He was a general contractor, then became a real estate developer, broker, the whole thing. He never left any money on the table. But his work ethic was you are up before the sun and you only need 6 hours of sleep.
Okay.
So I have gleaned my work ethic from my dad. I always tell my team, if I'm the hardest working person on the job, trust me, I notice.
No, that's a great statement. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I'm going to let you go or that you're not worthy, but I want you to realize that the work ethic is what helps get your success, whether you're working on yourself, whether you're working on sobriety, whether you're working on staying out of trouble, whether you're working for somebody else. That work ethic, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's the first thing. The second part of that is over the last probably 12 years, I've realized I'm enough.
Oh, I love it.
That I'm enough, and that I don't need to second guess myself, and that I can do the things that I say that I'm going to do or that I want to do.
Yeah, I love it.
And those 2 things combined have really helped me create a balance with this business that is different than what I built with my previous one.
Oh, interesting. I love that. And I love that you can see the difference and you have taken your initial experience and built on it. That was a great foundation. And now how do you build on top of that foundation? Right. That is great. And not only being enough, but being enough and not internalizing if somebody else has an opinion or a judgment or just makes a statement about you or anything else, and not being a victim to that and realizing that, you know what, that's your opinion. I love you. I support you. We may not agree, whether it's about me or about anything else in the world, but we can all still be civil. We can all still get along. We can still have statesmanship in this world, but realize that once they are okay with themselves, they are enough, that they are comfortable in their own skin, that then allows them to also not take everything else that people throw at them. It doesn't stick anymore. It creates that Teflon. I'm not acknowledging you. I just don't have to internalize what you're saying about me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you go on to social media at any point of the day and you have somebody that's requesting, refer me your best house cleaner.
Yes.
Within 5 minutes, no kidding, there's 72 different companies.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
That are all vying for position. And it's interesting because I know like some of the bigger companies, I've called them, I've talked to them, we've have this relationship there's no animosity. And if I see that one of those competitors has posted and somebody else has recommended them, I'm not going to post my company. I'm going to go and like her.
I love that. What a great concept.
And they do the same thing to me.
That is great.
So it's this whole idea of, look, if there are so many people out there in my industry, that tells me there is opportunity.
That's exactly right. We have another chamber member, Soap Tree Cleaning. I love Nicole, and I know that she feels a lot of the same concepts. She also has her own cleaning products. She created that because of some very specific purposes and great family life. I would imagine she would do the same. If she can't handle it, she's only got so many people. I would imagine she would want to have a relationship with you so she has somebody to recommend.
Yeah.
Because you want to provide solutions, right?
Absolutely. We want to take care of our community and take care of our families too. So Nicole, if you're listening, give me a call, girl. Let's go have lunch.
I will share that with her. Because actually, I will make sure you guys get introduced. You guys will both be at Spring Jam.
That would be awesome.
She'll also have a booth there too.
Yeah.
So I know that in doing a little bit more homework with you, you had shared that there's going to be some changes to the DBE program. Can you describe what DBE is first? Because I'm sure there's plenty that don't know what that certification is, and the value and the importance of it, and then maybe share what you know will be changing.
Sure. So the DBE program is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program that is put on through our state, through NDOT, basically. There's a great team over at the airport that helps run you through the qualification. And the DBE basically signifies to general contractors who are bidding on publicly funded or federally funded programs that you deserve to be at the table with all of the other bigger companies that don't have a disadvantage. And that disadvantage is financial in nature and also who is running the day-to-day business decisions of the company. So it's twofold. We're 100%, I own 100% of the company, 100% women-owned. I meet the financial threshold. I'm well below the financial threshold of the program. And it's just like getting a mortgage. Like you have to personal net worth statements, all of your financials for your company, tax returns. And so when we got certified in 2025, February of 2025, we got our certification. It opened up the playing field and gave me an in to participate in some of the bigger public works projects. Like I was able to bid on the railroad museum construction. I didn't bid with that GC, so obviously I didn't win the cleanup, but we have won some publicly funded programs, and our good state has seen it to make some of those requirements mandatory on certain projects, depending on where the funding comes from.
Correct.
So the change has come down now because what I've seen out there is some companies, the men are really, it's like the puppeteer. The male counterpart would be the owner behind the scenes, and they would list their wife as the 51% owner and or their wife as a minority to be able to qualify because the program requirements were very lax. So it was easy to hide behind a spouse who really had no idea. Now there's some legitimate businesses out there who women really are the leader of the company and their husbands are a part of it. But there are some that took advantage of the system. So what the government did then is said, okay, now we're going to change the rules. You still have to meet the financial thresholds. However, it's not just based on because if you're a woman or a minority or you fall into one of these disadvantaged groups, you have to prove it to us.
Interesting.
And now it's called a personal narrative, where not only do you have to provide a statement of what you believe that your disadvantages in your industry, you have to prove it with examples.
Interesting.
And so fortunate/unfortunate, being a female in construction, I had several examples where I have experienced sexism. Being a woman, I was talked over and not taken serious. There have been opportunities that because for financing, I sat down with a bank and they said, well, when is your husband joining us?
Oh, shoot.
And I was like, I don't have one of those. I didn't know I needed one for today's meeting. I would have hired one.
It's not on my checklist.
So those opportunities to me have been, lessened. And I want to win those contracts based on my own merits, on our service, how we handle the jobs, on our operations.
The performance.
Absolutely. By our bid. However, I also want to be allowed to sit at the table.
Exactly.
And
I
so
love
that's
that.
what the DBE or the MBE, there's all this alphabet soup out there,
Correct.
but it helps you get to a seat at the table.
So I had been appointed to a county position that we reviewed literally all of the transactions that the county did and the contracts that were awarded, and they all had to be DBE certified. And so that's when I first became familiar with it. That's been 10 plus years ago. I know they still have that program and was very impressed with the concept. There was also there was a handicap version. It wasn't DBE, but it was something else. Anyway, there were a couple other qualifications, veterans owned business.
Yep.
And so I was just grateful that they took into consideration that some of these smaller operators that have the certification can at least compete with the big guys. There's not always the financial side that is available there, but anyway, I'm grateful to note that is something that they're taking into consideration, and glad to know that they're also realizing that unfortunately people have taken advantage of the system.
And then there's another program through GoEd that is it's called the Emerging Small Business Program. So there's tier 1 and tier 2, and it's all based on revenue. So it doesn't have the same disadvantage requirements as the other programs do, but it allows smaller businesses with smaller revenue to also be able to sit at the table. So it's not defined on whether you're a minority or a veteran or a woman or some economic class that's disadvantaged. It's based strictly on your business. So we have that designation as well.
That is awesome. I love that. I would imagine that after hearing this information, there might be some people who are interested in that and they may reach out. Will you share with us how they might be able to connect with you?
Yeah. So our new office is 833 Nevada Way, Suite 2. We're in the old Dick Blair suite. We're still working on trying to get somebody to do our sign so that we can change that out. And we're also at ladyluxcleaningco.com is our website. You can also give us a call at 702-706-3225.
Perfect.
And then my email is celeste@ladyluxcleaning.com.
I love it. And you're also on the socials, so
All
people
the
can
socials.
check you out there. I really appreciate all that information. And one other place they can learn a little bit more from you is in the Inspirata magazine. I thought that was pretty awesome that you're a published author.
Yeah, so we advertise in Inspirata, but I also submit articles talking about VOCs and our cleaning products. And one of the things that we didn't get to talk about today was the cleaning products that actually launched to market today.
So that's exciting.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that's in the show notes, and we'll tease people to have to go to the show notes to learn more about those amazing cleaning products. It has been a joy, Celeste. Thank you so much for all your insight, for being a great entrepreneur, and being an asset to Boulder City.
Oh, well, thank you. I love Boulder City. It's a little big town.
Yes.
And the people here are just absolutely amazing. I believe I found my home.
Well, we're glad. Welcome home. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jill.
This episode of the Best Damn Podcast has been a production of the Boulder City Chamber of Commerce. Please check out all the links and social media handles on our website as well at bouldercitychamber.com. You can find the Best Damn Podcast on all your favorite podcast directories. Like us and share on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, discover, explore, and unwind in Boulder City.